I want to give you guys a quick rundown of the looper first. Two things that I would really recommend setting up on your AX8 to use the looper. The first one is to disable XY switching, like this. And the second one is to assign the looper to the F2 foot switch, like this. Now you don't have to do that, but that's how I've got mine set up. So to access the looper, all I have to then do is press F2. And we get the looper menu pop up like so, which is pretty cool. So from the top left, you can see along the top you've got a bunch of basically advanced controls. Undo, half speed, reverse, and then this button, which if you press it will take you back to the main preset screen. So that's kind of cool. Press F2 again and we're back in the looper. And on the bottom row we've kind of got the standard controls. Record, play, which is going to play back our loop. Once, which is just going to play your loop once, which is really, really handy. Surprisingly useful, I'll show you why in a second. And then dub, which will let us record over our original loop. So to get going, the reason we disabled XY switching was I find it helps sync up the loops a lot easier. Basically, when you've got XY switching enabled, you have to press the button and then release it for it to activate the switch. This way it will activate on the downstroke, which basically makes everything way easier to sync up. So let's get on with it and just create a loop and see what happens. We're just going to press record, and when we're done with the loop, press record again, and it will immediately start playing. And you notice that I didn't quite nail the change on there. This takes a little bit of practice to get used to. Let's try it again. I like to kind of be right on, ready to go. And I'll normally play through the loop once and then record on the second go through, like this. And you can hear that was at least a little bit better than the first try. So now I've got a loop, and if I want to play over the top of it, I can just press play and then jam my guitar over it. And then, if I want to dub over the top of that, I'm just going to press the dub button. So I'll just add a kind of little funky guitar thing, like a... But say I didn't like that overdub that I did and I want to get rid of it, I can just press the undo button and it will undo the previous thing that I've dubbed. So let's get rid of that da 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 da. And if I want to go back and have another crack at it, it is very easy to fix. A couple of cool little features that I find that are cool for like endings and things like that with a looper. The reverse obviously is really fun to play around with. and they're kind of not very musical in this setting, but when we have a look at some of the more advanced stuff with a looper, their uses become far more available. One cool thing to do is say we play it at reverse and then we overdub a guitar part, like so. You can hear there that what's happening is that I've basically, in a very clever roundabout way, overdubbed a reverse loop over there. And we can do that with the half speed function, where if I play the loop at half speed and then I play over it, when I go back to normal speed, it's going to sound like I've overdubbed something an octave up, which is pretty handy. Let's try that. Which sounds pretty silly. We could also start recording a loop at half speed, play it back at normal speed, overdub something, and then play it back at half speed, and it's going to sound like we dubbed a bass guitar line over there. So that would be something like this if I record a new loop. Which doesn't sound super fantastic at the moment, but I'm sure if you're creative with it, you can find a use for it. And that's kind of the point of this whole thing, is that this is more than just like a one-shot kind of simple looper. There's so many creative uses that you can get into, whether you want to use this for gigs. I use this a lot doing acoustic gigs, and I will, you know, on the main grid, which I don't have set up here, I'll add an octaver so that I can play bass along. I'll add a delay and a bunch of other things like that, which are pretty cool. But we'll look at that in another lesson, how you can use the looper to like layer songs and things like that. For now, hopefully we've got the idea of the basics of how to use it and how to set it up most effectively, and now you can go away and play some cool loops and jam with yourself. You don't need anybody else. That's a great thing. Thanks for tuning into the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and check out my other AX8 Basics videos. I'll see you guys next time.